Hey there, this is TNG, and I am here with my American friend Eric to have a bite-sized chat about the cult movie They Live by John Carpenter. The reason for the bite-sized episode being that most of your attention spans have now been whittled down so much via hyperstimulation with social media and the lack of creative writing or even just reading a book occasionally that we would be wasting our time producing a long podcast. How are you, Eric? Are you well?
I am very well. Thank you, TNG. Good to be here.
That's good to hear. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Along with the books Brave New World by Aldous Huxley and 1984 by George Orwell, the movie They Live paints a picture of reality so unrealised by the masses of humanity, yet so obvious to those with eyes to see. It is very obvious now that there are many movies, TV series and books created by the mainstream media that to some degree or another give the game away. From The Wizard of Oz to the Matrix trilogy, some giving away small clues and others whacking you squarely in the face with great swathes of the agenda at play in our realm today. This is without taking into account any synchro-mystic shenanigans at play as well, linking movies to events, actors to agendas and so on. They Live, to anyone who has even dipped a toe in the alternative community truth scene, will see the parallels in reality to the agendas in the film. The main theme being all the programming of the masses to obey authority, consume and breed, be a good little sheep. Movies sometimes reveal deeper truths than their creators intended, and today we're exploring how a 1988 sci-fi film predicted our modern reality in ways that are honestly disturbing.
Well, that's fascinating, especially since They Live started as Ray Nelson's short story before becoming this cult classic film. What made you want to dig into this particular story?
You know what's really striking? The way both versions tackle mass manipulation differently. The original story uses hypnosis, while the film uses those iconic sunglasses, but they're both exploring how society can be controlled through media and messaging.
And the timing of the original story in the 1960s versus the film in the 1980s seems particularly relevant, each version reflecting different anxieties about mass media control.
The protagonist's name itself tells us so much. Nada, meaning nothing in Spanish. Here's someone society considers worthless, becoming the only person who can see through the deception. That's exactly the kind of social commentary that makes this story so powerful.
The way you put that makes me think about whistleblowers and truth-tellers throughout history, how often they've come from unexpected places.
And let's talk about that famous 6-minute fight scene where Nada tries to force his friend to put on the glasses. It's become this perfect metaphor for trying to wake people up to uncomfortable truths.
Oh, right. It's almost comically long, but that's what makes it work. It captures that frustration of trying to show someone a reality they're actively resisting.
What really gets me is how the original story includes this detail about the aliens losing their power when Nada detects fear in them. It suggests their control relies entirely on projected confidence and authority.
So if we look at those subliminal messages in the film, obey, consume, stay asleep, they're basically laying bare the mechanisms of social control we often pretend don't exist.
Well, what's fascinating is how the story predicted our current relationship with screens and media. Like in both versions, television is the primary tool for mass control, and now we literally carry screens with us everywhere.
You know what's wild about that? The average American now spends over 7 hours per day looking at screens. Exactly the kind of constant exposure the story warned about.
And here's something chilling from the original text. When George gets that phone call telling him he'll die at 8 a.m, it shows how complete their control is. They can literally schedule someone's death.
That level of control feels eerily similar to how modern algorithms can predict our behavior with frightening accuracy.
The story also includes these disturbing details about what's found in the aliens' apartment, human remains suggesting they're literally feeding on humanity. It's a much darker metaphor than what we see in the film.
Well, that's certainly more visceral than the movie version, though both are essentially about parasitic relationships between controllers and the controlled.
You know what makes this story so relevant today? The concept of a signal being broadcast to keep people unaware. With our current discussions about social media manipulation and digital influence, it feels more timely than ever.
And considering how social media algorithms are specifically designed to keep us engaged and scrolling, we're essentially living in a more sophisticated version of that reality.
The ending of the original story really stays with me. George manages to wake up the entire city before dying at exactly 8 a.m. as predicted. It suggests that revealing truth requires personal sacrifice.
That reminds me of how many modern whistleblowers end up facing serious consequences for exposing uncomfortable truths.
Looking at both versions today, they seem less like science fiction and more like warning signs we missed. They're about the moment when someone realises their reality isn't what they've been told it is.
That's exactly why these stories continue to resonate. They tap into our growing awareness of how systems of control operate in plain sight.
And maybe that's the most important takeaway, that sometimes the truth is right in front of us. We just need the right pair of glasses to see it.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
TNGBreakingReality.com.
In a world where truth is often stranger than fiction, the line between reality and perception has never been more important. At Global Lens Productions, we don't just capture the news, we create it. With over 20 years of experience, our team of award-winning filmmakers, special effects experts, and journalists work tirelessly to bring you the most compelling, immersive, and believable footage in the industry. From conflict zones to political upheavals, we provide news networks with the visuals they need to tell the stories that matter. Our work has been featured on every major network, in every corner of the globe. At Global Lens Productions, we understand the power of imagery. That's why we go above and beyond to ensure every detail is perfect. From the costumes to the locations, the lighting to the sound design. When you work with us, you're not just buying footage, you're investing in a narrative. Whether you need a small-scale protest or a full-blown international crisis, we've got you covered. Our services are discreet, professional, and tailored to your needs. Global Lens Productions, where stories are made and the world takes notice. Because in today's media landscape, perception is everything.
Global Lens Productions, crafting reality, shaping perception.
Welcome to the real world.